All right. Good morning, everyone. Matt Braden here from the GPAR team. Hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday. Quick little reminder, remember, keep yourself on mute. That would be great. We're so happy to have you with us here today for Coffee Talk with our president, Stephanie Biello. Today's featured conversation is going to be with the folks from Bright MLS. Before we get to that, I have a couple of announcements to go ahead and make. Obviously, you have all seen the emails that have gone out the last couple of days because you're here joining us. But it's also important to remind you of what was in those messages that are unrelated to today's Coffee Talk, and that is Code of Ethics Cycle 6. So at the end of this year, you have to have all of your latest and greatest Code of Ethics requirements fulfilled. Please go ahead and read through that information. It's different for new agents versus the seasoned grizzled folks who went through cycle 5 not too long ago. So please go ahead and read that message. If you have any questions, Donna LaPera from our team is here to help you out with that. Again, the deadline is at the end of the year. We'd rather you guys knock it out now and take care of business. When you go onto the NAR website to go ahead and do the Code of Ethics, from the time you start, you have 30 days to go ahead and complete it. If you don't get it done, that's okay. You can start it up at another time. But the point there is, if you were to go ahead and start your Code of Ethics course online at NAR today, you could just do 20 minutes today, 10 minutes tomorrow, and whatever, space it out over the course of a month. Take advantage of that, because sometimes you just don't feel like looking at a computer screen. Do it in little bite-sized nuggets. Also in that email, we asked you guys to go ahead and update your information. It's really important for you guys to know that you're the ones who help us keep in touch with you based upon your current information. So logging into the GPAR website and going through the portal for members, you can go in there and make your changes, phone numbers, email addresses, the office that you work with. Some people will have information in there and pictures of themselves when they had a full head of hair and they have nothing but a chrome dome now. So it might be time to update your information. And I say that for the follically impaired, joking around. But please, information is critical, and updated information is most important for us keeping in contact with you guys. And then finally, Thursday night, 7 o'clock, we're going to say goodbye to one of our longtime staff members, and that is Charlotte Corman. She is retiring from her time of serving GPAR, and we're going to raise a glass and wish her well on her future adventures. So that's 7 o'clock Thursday night. So with that, let's get into Coffee Talk. Where is President Stephanie? Stephanie, where are you at?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Good
I'm going to
morning.
hand it over to you. So welcome, and have a great conversation.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today we have Brian and Joy from Bright MLS joining us. I'm going to pin them so I can see them. So just for those of you who are new, our new members, just like to do a brief introduction to for Brian. If Brian, you want to say a couple words and explain to everybody what your role is at Bright.
Sure. Hey, good morning, everyone. We appreciate you having us out. Many of you already know Joy. You've probably been in 1 or 2 or 10 classes with her, learning about all the great things Bright has to offer. But I am the Regional Vice President. I cover, for Bright MLS, I cover what I affectionately refer to as the North. That includes Montgomery County and Philadelphia, Bucks County, Schuylkill Berks, and then over New Jersey, Burlington, Camden, Ocean, Somerset, Hunterdon, and Mercer counties. I'm sorry, I had to think of that last one. So that's the area that I cover. Bright itself covers a much larger area. We cover a 40,000 square mile territory that goes from parts of West Virginia all the way to Ocean County, New Jersey, and Schuylkill County in the north, all the way down to Caroline County, Virginia. It ends up being almost, I think it's 90 municipalities that we cover and 43 counties. So we have quite a large footprint in this mid-Atlantic area.
Awesome. Okay, Joy, how about you? Why don't you introduce yourself to our members?
Absolutely. You know, and for those of you who are not aware, again, my name is Joy Durning, and I am your Bright Customer Success Coach. I do support our subscribers in Philadelphia, also Burlington, Camden, and Ocean County, New Jersey. They like to keep me busy. And I like it that way, Brian. What I do is a lot of Bright workshops, learning opportunities for all of you. And of course, we offer workshops specific to our GPAR members. I'm also available to present to your office or team. And finally, I am a resource for all of you, a direct line to Bright, someone you can reach out to. If you have questions, suggestions, maybe just need a sounding board, feel free to reach out to me. I know everybody thinks I'm crazy when I say it, but call, text, or email me. I'm going to go ahead and paste my contact information in the chat for you. So if you haven't already, add me to your contacts.
All right, great. Thank you, Joy. All right, so Brian and Joy, two things I want to cover today. Want to talk a little bit about some of your training programs, some of the features that Bright has that maybe your help desk people kind of get questions on, people struggle with, or want a little more information on. And then also the elephant in the room, the pending sale of ShowingTime. So we'll get into that a little bit. So let's start with Joy. Joy, what are some of the features that agents really want more help with?
Sure. So, our support center, by the way, is available to you in addition to me, and they're available, by the way, 7 days a week through phone, chat, email. And, I would say the questions that we get every day kind of runs the gamut, actually. I know we get a lot of questions about how to, just asking for help with, accessing sometimes, like the run-of-the-mill stuff, passwords and billing and stuff like that. But with a big focus on, I need some help editing or publishing my listing, or really specific searches that agents are looking to do, specific to a client, a buyer or seller looking for help with that, and we will help you. Real quick tip for today, Stephanie, for everybody. If you can actually add and remove filters to your search. You may or may not be aware. And one really good one is public and private remarks. Use it to filter by keywords. Agents don't always fill in every field when they're inputting their listing, but we are all trained to paint a picture with our words in the remarks. So I just figured I'd share a quick tip.
That's a great one. Good
Yeah.
one. Cool. Okay, so how about some of the training sessions? What do you have coming up? What were your most popular ones in 2020? I know that was kind of like a question I didn't prepare you for, but I just thought going forward, is there anything that you're taking into 2021 that was really successful in 2020?
Yeah, I would say we've got some really great workshops available to all of you. I mean, we'll talk about everything and anything Bright and beyond. But of course, one of my most favorite, and I think others too, was and is Bright prospecting. Just all the tools that you can use inside of Bright to uncover opportunity. I mean, we all want more business, right?
Right, exactly. Okay, so are these just for new members or for everybody? And how do they log in? How do they get notification for these sessions?
Absolutely. So the workshops we offer are for everybody, both new and experienced. We cover both basic and advanced topics. And, keep in mind the technology, our business is always changing. Also, there's a lot there. Many of our seasoned agents are often surprised. It's funny enough, I had somebody join me just recently, and he was 30 years in the business. He actually just had a little extra time, jumped into a Bright intro with his team, and walked away saying, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea. I did not expect to learn all this stuff today." So just goes to show there's always more to know. To find the training, I would say, actually, I'm going to do a quick screen share for all of you.
Sure,
Hang with
go
me.
ahead.
And my apology, it was a little lagged. And you're seeing my Bright screen, right?
I do.
All right. So if you're logged into Bright, super easy. Just click on support and training. And you do have the ability to view all upcoming workshops. But again, there are workshops specifically scheduled for our GPAR members. If you scroll through, you'll see we have 43 shareholder members right here, Greater Philadelphia Association of Realtors. If you click there, This is where you'll see the upcoming Bright learning opportunities for all of you. The next one is February 24th. And just keep checking back because we're always adding more. In fact, by the end of this week, you'll see, a few more here. Just click into view details. And when you do, you'll see, bear with me, just catching up there, register and add to my classes.
Okay.
Any questions about that, or I'm just checking the chat?
I don't see
And
anybody in the chat.
I think we're good.
Yeah. So how is the new dashboard working out for everyone? Do you have a lot of calls on that? Are people liking it? What is your feedback?
Sure. I can only speak from my vantage point, and I will say that the feedback that I've heard, and I'd love to hear from all of you, is been overwhelmingly positive, actually. And just most, once they get into it and they understand kind of what it was all about, it's easier to do a lot of the things we need to right away when we log in each day.
Cool. Well, I will say personally, I'm getting old and my eyes are not as great, so I like the large print. So
Me too.
good for me. Good for me. Okay, thanks, Joy. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on? Any training? Any tidbits? I mean, you gave us a great little tidbit with the search. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, nothing specific at this time. I would just say, please, when you have the time, make learning a part of your strategy, to get more business in 2021, because there's a lot of information I'd love to share with you. And I know it's hard to break away, but that time that we invest is often that thing that allows us to get that next opportunity.
All right. Well, thank you, Joy. And you're always so great to our association, and people, our members love you. So
I love
thank
you
you for
all.
everything you do. All righty. All right. So Brian, Joy got the softball questions. We're going to you.
All right. Thanks for coming out, everyone. I'll see you next time.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So, well, Brian, thank you for joining us. And I know we talked a little bit about the pending sale of ShowingTime, and maybe people who are just tuning in, they don't have the full story, they're just hearing bits and pieces. Can you kind of give us an overview of what this means or what happened?
Sure. So last week, Zillow and ShowingTime both announced that they had mutually agreed to sell ShowingTime to Zillow. ShowingTime will become part of the Zillow Group, similar to a Dotloop or a Bridge Interactive. So it will be separate from their brokerage work. It's a strict technology company acquisition that they're making over there.
Okay, so the relationship between Bright MLS and ShowingTime is, can you talk about that relationship?
Sure. So
Okay.
ShowingTime is a vendor and a partner of Bright's. You all know them from obviously ShowingTime, scheduling your showings, getting your reports. They also provide us with a program called Smart Charts that you may or may have not used at some point in the past. So they are a vendor partner of ours, and they will continue to be a vendor partner of Bright's.
So, so the Smart Charts is part of ShowingTime. When you say they're going to continue being a partner, how is that going to look? I mean,
so as of right now, you will not notice any sort of change, right? We obviously have a contract with them. They have a contract with us. Their sale to Zillow does not affect any of the terms of the contract that they had entered with Bright. But obviously with this happening, we have been out there, we have been exploring what other options may be available to Bright in terms of showing services. So I won't get into specifics, but know that we have or are planning to meet with a number of showing providers so that our Bright members have the option of choosing the service provider they feel most comfortable with when it comes to showings.
okay, so ShowingTime, so our members, I think the concern is that perhaps their data might be seen by other
Yep.
brokers.
So
We have to be I just want to put it out there. We have to be very careful. Zillow is a brokerage. So
that's exactly true.
we
Zillow is a
cannot,
member of NAR. They are They're
Yeah.
Bright members. They are members of the National Association of Realtors. They are afforded all the respect you would give to any other real estate broker in the space.
Right.
So I agree that, we don't, when I talk about Zillow, I'm talking about the technology company, the Zillow Group, right? So for the Zillow Group, if this goes through, or when this goes through, all of the privacy rules that were in the contract with ShowingTime, they transfer straight over to Zillow. It's not that Zillow buys the company and they can do whatever they want. One of the benefits of being part of a large regional MLS is we have very good lawyers. Our very good lawyers look at our contracts, and they are very conscious of data rights, privacy between agents and their consumers. So know that all of this information is covered by privacy rights. So don't think that Zillow is going to get your seller's email address or your email address or your buyer's email address, right? All of that information is private and always will be. They will use, we'll call them, it's NPI, non-personally identifiable information, things like frequency of showings in specific areas. So they will take our data and aggregate it and give it back so that we can help you do your job better, right? Everybody wants to know, if I get a listing in, Chestnut Hill for 600,000, how many other listings are there like that? How many showings are they getting? How many days on market? And a lot of those statistics, ShowingTime helps provide a lot of those statistics. So they will have access to, it's just non-personally identifiable information, but personally identifiable information is always covered by the privacy rules that are established when we set up this contract.
And it's important to know that whatever they're doing with ShowingTime, that's separate from the brokerage.
Absolutely. Just remember,
yeah,
it's Zillow Group. Zillow Group owns a number of companies. They own Zillow, they own Trulia, they own Loop, they own Bridge Interactive. So this is not unheard of for Zillow to acquire a technology company and then just have it run as its own separate division inside the parent company. They purchased Loop, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago at this point. I think everybody had similar concerns when that happened. And I don't know to date, and don't quote me on this, but I don't know of any issues that have arisen from that purchase 3 or 4 years ago at this point. So Zillow does have a track record of being able to acquire technology companies and silo them and silo their information inside a separate division.
Okay, so you said that you're exploring other online showing solutions. When will this go into effect?
It won't be right away. I mean, just like this, this deal was announced, right? A letter of intent was announced. They intend to go through with this, but the normal flow of the deal still has to happen, right? They still have to go through regulators, get okayed, sign off on everything. We also have existing contracts. I won't get into the specifics of those contracts, but we have contracts with them. They have contracts with us. So this isn't something that we will, flip a switch on tomorrow. ShowingTime was the biggest game in the showing business. I'm not sure if anybody cared or followed back in the day, but it used to be e-showings and ShowingTime and centralized showing service. E-showings disappeared. ShowingTime and centralized showing services were the two big names in the game. ShowingTime purchased centralized showing back in 2019. So they are the primary game. There are a number of solutions out there. CentralLock, who is similar to our Supra. They provide electronic lockbox access to, I want to say it's 40% of the market. They're owned by NAR. They have a showing service that they debuted, I want to say this fall. It's not ready for a MLS of our size. They are piloting in smaller MLSs. But there are companies out there who have been thinking about this problem prior to today and have been working on solutions. So that's the good news. And we are meeting with them. We are talking with them. We have met with, CentralLock obviously presented to us back in the fall. And they, by their own admission, they aren't ready for an MLS. We're the biggest MLS on the East Coast, right? We have 95,000 members. I think there are, of the 600 plus MLSs in the United States, there are something like only 100 or 200 that have over 1,000 members. So there's a lot of small MLSs in the country, and they're going to pilot it in some of those markets. But we are very receptive to working with them if we feel that the solution will work for all of our members.
I don't know if you have the answer to this, but you said we're one of the largest MLSs. So some of
Mhm.
the other comparable ones that come close, do they use ShowingTime or are they using others?
Yes, I mean, ShowingTime had,
Yeah.
we'll say, I can't give you exact specific figures, but they had a dominant presence in the MLS game.
Okay.
They had, they've been around for, I want to say, at least 15 years, maybe 20 years. So it's not like they popped up yesterday and just ran out there. They had been building and working towards their goal of providing showing information and aggregating the data around showing information for well over a decade. As far as MLSs go, there's only one MLS that's bigger than us. It's the California Regional MLS. It's the whole state of California. Outside of that, even I would say my territory that I cover, if by itself, inside of our footprint, would be a top 20 MLS in the United States. And that's just our area up here in the north. So we are a large MLS. We do have a lot of influence when it comes to these kinds of things. The bright option matters, I guess is what we'll say. So, as we talk to these vendors, always first in our minds is data privacy for our agents, our subscribers, and their clients.
Okay. Talking about the stats, so I guess Smart Charts is part of ShowingTime. That's where
Correct.
you're getting the data. Are there
Yep.
any other? So I guess if you're running any kind of numbers inside of Bright, is it only the Smart Charts, or is there something else that is related to ShowingTime?
In terms
Or is it
of
just
products that we offer,
yeah?
I mean, we have a number of statistical products. I'm sure Joy
Okay.
Joy offers a class called Statistically Speaking.
Right.
Plug. So it's a great class, but it goes into, there's a lot of options you have to explore the data inside of
Okay.
Bright MLS. And Joy, if you want to hop in and talk a little bit more to the types of data that are available. My cat
Absolutely.
jumps on my
So
shoulder.
when you log into Bright today, whether you are doing a search, there is a really easy, or for a buyer or seller, there's some really easy ways to aggregate the results of your search in a way that your buyers and sellers can understand the opportunity, understand what's happening in the market, but also under the market research menu. To Brian's point, there is a bunch of really great reports there. Some of them are reports that we generate for you. Others are reports that you can customize to again, explain the market, the opportunity, the competition. And a couple of those are driven by showing information too, but not all of them. There's a create custom option where you can create some really great, different graphical views, data views to, share with somebody in a presentation or even socially to start a conversation, get more business. And then finally, of course, there's, Smart Charts as an option too. So that was like a fire hose, wasn't it? Bottom line is there's a lot you can do. Come join me for a workshop. I'll show you.
All right. So ShowingTime scheduling in Home Snap app.
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect what happens there with the Home Snap?
Nothing. I mean, you should see there will be no difference to your daily workflow for the foreseeable future. Like I said, we have contracts. There are contracts all around. Again, it hasn't. I don't think we've been 5 business days since this. I think ShowingTime put out their press release last night about the merger. So there has been. We are working to analyze the situation, but for right now, nothing will change about your flow, and don't expect any changes to any of your workflows for the foreseeable future.
Okay. And mergers like this or acquisitions like this take some time, correct?
Yep.
So like you said, it's not going to happen overnight. We're not lawyers. We don't know how long this is going to take, but it's not going to happen right away.
Yeah, it'll take, and any deal like this takes a couple months to close, right? Due diligence periods and all that kind of
Right.
stuff.
And they have to go before DOJ and SEC.
I'll be honest, I don't know enough about that specific
Yeah.
portion of the process to talk about it. But yes, it's not Zillow didn't, write them a check for 500,000 and take keys to their database and run down the street with them, right? This deal will take time to close. It will be reviewed by all the appropriate authorities who need to review these kinds of things before, anything is permanent and goes through. But for you guys, and at least for this, the spring market, which I think started last week or 2 weeks ago, or maybe on January 1st, who knows at this point, but there will be no change to your workflow as you sprint through the busiest part of your first half of your year.
I think that was my next question. Is there anything that you wanted to reassure our members or let our members know?
Yeah, look, guys, we're partners. Your data is as secured today as it was 2 weeks ago, as it will be 2 weeks, 2 months from now, right? All those contracts are in place. Nothing changes. Just like when someone, we'll just say this, the contracts are the contracts no matter who owns the company. When they buy the company, they're buying the contracts as well, and the contract terms that exist when the contracts were signed. So we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. I think we're pretty clear on that. We'll have to see what comes down the pike. And thank you for that. You talked about there's other solutions. So Bright is definitely evaluating other options.
Yep, we've met with some. We'll meet with more this week. I won't get into specifics of who, but just know that there are active meetings going on to explore various options that are out there.
Okay. All right. Talking about changes, are there any other recent changes to the offerings by Bright? Anything
I'll let Joy jump in here, but just know that
Okay.
there are a lot of good things on the horizon
Yes.
for 2021 with Bright. Workspace was, we'll say, it was the first step in a lot of cool stuff that we are hoping you will really enjoy. Workspace was kind of the foundation that all these changes will be built on this year. And I'll let Joy talk a little bit more about that.
Thank you. And yeah, to I guess echo, some good work was done with the recent update that we did for all of you, the new workspace view. There are, that was kind of phase one. There's more to come, some really good things that you will see in 2021. So I'm going to just say, stay tuned. A couple of highlights for you. Listing assistant. So listing assistant is something you will see is going to offer the option to add information to your listings from both public record and past listings. And the idea is to make it easier for all of you, but also provide more information to buyers. Of course, the agent will still need to verify the information before they publish. Also, photos. We know how important photos are. So we're working on some really cool things to save the listing agent time, as well as multiple downloads and uploads across different systems. It often can be really challenging. This includes giving Media Connect access to photographers that you're working with. So those are a couple of things within listing management. Oh, teams. This is a good one. So if you're on a team, the idea is to enable you to attribute listings to a team. And that will also allow teams to generate ranking reports, both by individual and the team, so everybody gets credit for the work that they do. Also show performance comparing productivity to the prior year. So we can continue to, the best way to run is against ourselves. And so provide better insights to both the team and individual product and for the individual productivity. Boy, there's a lot happening, Brian, right?
Well, we have Matrix 10 will roll out at some point this year. A lot of the features that a lot of people have been asking for are part of Matrix 10. So we don't have a specific timeline for that too. The general look and feel will stay the same. You'll just get a couple of features you like. One Home, which is the new Matrix or the new CoreLogic consumer facing portal. It's awesome. Just Google CoreLogic One Home and just see the features that they have there. A lot more client interactivity, suggested listings. There's a lot of cool things on the horizon that'll really take your the relationships that you build with your clients through Bright to the next level.
and I just got to say, we are always working every day to update, innovate, and add value. I mean, we are really focused on making sure you all have the tools to continue to compete no matter what is happening in our industry and marketplace. So, and again, I'm just really excited for, some of the stuff we're going to see in 2021. So we'll keep you posted.
Cool. So can you find all these that you're talking about? You can find that on the dashboard. Where are we gonna be able to access this?
Well, no, not everything's going to be on a dashboard. The dashboard is really meant to show you, get you more directly to the things that you use every day at the top of your day. And like, how do I access my listings, manage, the listings that I need to update, my contacts, things like that, keep an eye on the market. But, some of the things that we talked about for listing management, like the listing assistant and photos, that's going to be something you see under your listing menu when it's available. It's not there currently. The search is just going to be it's not going to change how you get there to do a search. It's not going to be a big lift, by the way. If anybody heard they're changing search and felt nervous right away, don't. It's okay. It's actually going to be not a big lift for anybody, but it's going to be an update on things like icons and reports. And the map is a good one. All, if you use the map, and you go to it today, you see there's a ton of extra white space happening on that page. And I know one thing that a lot of our agents have been asking for is the ability to see that map in full screen view. So that's going to happen with Matrix 10, some additional overlays available there. So, I mean, it's going to depend on which update or which new feature you're talking about, Stephanie, where they will see it.
Okay. One thing I want to touch on is a question I get all the time: the listing statuses with the active, coming soon, temporarily off the market. Can we do a rundown? Because now I don't see active, no showing. Can you? I know this wasn't a question I prepared you for,
Okay.
so I'm sorry.
That's okay. This is a good one,
but
actually.
as you're talking, I'm thinking of things that people come to me and say, I don't understand. How do I list this?
Sure.
So can we go through the different
I would love to, actually.
Okay.
So you all know we've heard coming soon, right? And coming soon, prior to maybe a year or so ago was, a term that was used a lot of different ways by a lot of different people. But in the Bright space, what it means is you've got a listing agreement and you and your seller decided you'd like to start marketing the property, but you're not ready to show. So when you input your listing, you can choose to enter it as coming soon for up to 21 days and market the property. Do what you need to do. You can even start scheduling showings for the date that is expected on market or beyond, open houses too. So that's coming soon. The key with coming soon is no show, right? You cannot show until your listing goes active.
And also remember that those coming soon listings are not syndicated out to the portals as well.
Right.
Those are yours. They're for your brokerage
Right.
to display and market them. So we don't send coming soon listings to Zillow, Realtor.com, any of those sites.
And the days on market do not start.
That's
Days
right.
on market don't start, and pricing history does not start to record itself until you go live. So if you're unsure about a price, you can kind of test the market at one price. If you change it before you go active, then that will be the opening price as recorded inside the system. But just remember, coming soon is only available one time. If your property is any other status other than coming soon, you can't go back to coming soon. So it's kind of like a trap door where, once you go through, you can't go back. You can be active, you can be temporarily off the market, but you can only be coming soon the first time. So Be careful with the status changes. If you decide, oh, we're ready to go, we're not ready to go, you won't be able to go back to coming soon at that point.
Another really good one to understand, because I've been getting this a lot lately. You all know that you have 3 days to update your listings, right? And so when a listing status changes, let's say it was active and now you have a contract, right? You have two options, and one of them does not include leaving it active until the contingencies are met, or the seller says, actually, you do need to update your listing to either active under contract or pending. And that is up to you and your seller, what you want to do. Active under contract says, we've got a contract and we are continuing to show the property, accept backup offers. So keep that in mind too when you are searching for listings for your buyers, and just look at the contingencies. And then pending would be, we've got a contract, we are not showing the property or accepting backup offers at this time. So that's another one I think, for some folks can be a little confusing.
I just want to stop there.
Sure.
So that's the one people think active under contract, there's contingencies, but they don't realize that it requires them to accept other offers, or not accept, I shouldn't say accept, but they're
other
taking other
showings.
offers.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really
And
not
so
about the
that is
contingencies.
the difference.
Right. Sorry.
That's the difference between active under contract and pending. Is when you
Right.
say active under contract, you are saying that this property is still available to show, right? That's where a lot of people will put it on active under contract, but then they'll deny showings, right? If that is reported, you'll have, someone from accuracy and compliance will reach out and they'll either ask you to allow the showings or move it over to pending. So that is the determining, when you're wondering, oh, is this active under contract or is this pending? And you'll, as you march through the questions, that determines the status. Has the seller instructed you to continue to allow showings? If the answer is yes, that's when you get to active under contract. If the answer is no, that's when you get to pending.
Okay, sorry.
No, no problem
Continue.
at all.
All right, so let's see, withdrawn and canceled. That's another big one for everybody to understand. Just be very clear, some of you may be targeting expired and canceled. All right, and that's great. It is an opportunity for all of you. That being said, there is some due diligence that you need to do, whether you're getting that information from Bright or any other source that you might be looking at, any other site. Anytime you're reaching out to those homeowners, you do need to be sure that those homeowners have not already subsequently relisted their property. And so definitely check the history. Quick tip, by the way, if you're in Bright looking at it, change the display to Agent 360. That way, if you're looking at the history tab on the Agent 360 report, you can easily click next, next, next all the way through and do your review much more efficiently. But that said, if you see that the listing is, and I started to talk about withdrawns and canceled and got off the track with expired, but withdrawn means we've taken the property off the market for all intents and purposes. There's no real intention to put it back on the market. However, the broker has decided to hold that homeowner to the contract. So they cannot relist with another agent, and you should not be contacting them. Canceled means I'm done with you, you're done with me, good luck to the next guy or gal, right? So those are fair game. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody.
And I did see a question earlier about Bright sharing the seller's contact information when listings go expired or withdrawn. Just so everyone is clear, Bright does not share any of that information. Those are third-party services who acquire that kind of information and then append public record information. Essentially, they're searching the white pages just like you were. They just do it with a machine that pins that information on there. So Bright is never and has never and will never sell your seller's contact information to any third party. So I just want everybody to be clear on that. And then I also saw a question about IDX and coming soon. Coming soons are not part of IDX. If you see a coming soon listing on, for instance, Zillow, that is because the broker of record has requested a broker feed. It's called a broker feed. It includes all your brokerage's listings, including coming soon listings, and they have opted to share that with Zillow. So that is a private deal made separately from Bright. So if you do see a brokerage that does do that, they requested a data feed just like anybody else can, and they have worked out a deal with Zillow to display that those listings there. But that is not something that Bright is doing.
All right.
All
So I
right.
think we've covered what else we've not covered. Temp off is
Yeah.
another one that you have. And just know, things happen all the time with our listings, with our homeowners during the life of the listing. So if you've got somebody who needs to hit the pause button, that would be temp off. And that use temp off rather than withdrawn. Withdrawn is supposed to say, hey, we're not really planning to put this, even though you could technically, withdrawn says we're not really planning to put it back on the market. Temp off is to let everybody know it's just a temporary situation right now that we've hit the pause button. It could be anything from they have a wedding, somebody's in a hospital, they've got water in the basement, we need to remediate, whatever the case may be. Temp off gives you the ability to stop the clock, days on market stops, but you can continue marketing the property. And by the way, when you have, that reminds me, if you have a listing that is not in active status, you can't show it, but you can accept offer sight unseen. That's something to keep in mind too. So if it's temp off and you're still marketing the property, or if it's, coming soon, and you can't show it yet and somebody wants to make an offer, that's certainly something that we have seen.
So how long can you do temp off?
There's no time limit.
The length
There's
of the
no time limit.
contract.
Yep.
Yep,
So
it's the length.
Okay.
You could sign a listing, turn it to temporary off, burn the 364 days, and then it would expire. So it's TO is only limited by the length of the listing contract.
And
Okay.
Jake, by the way, thank you for the question in the chat. And I'm sorry to say your name too, but you always have great questions for me. He said, I've seen agents using temp off to avoid going active under contract or pending. That's something we're not going to know, but you do. And while I know nobody wants to police one another, if you see something, say something, hit the accuracy and policy button. It is anonymous. And we can request a copy of, we can reach out to that agent, to that broker, and again, that would be a violation. It's dishonest if it's under contract, not to show that it's under contract.
I also see a question here about Zillow and rentals and charging to show rentals. So it's a great question. So let's talk about it. When you opt into IDX, you opt into specific types of listings, right? You can say, I want all active listings, I want all active rentals, I want all active commercial, right? But you can't opt out specifically by brokerage. You can't say, I want to show all listings, but that guy's listings, right? So any other broker has this option too. If you decide that you do not want to include rentals on your website because your company doesn't really handle rentals, you can opt out of receiving rentals as part of the IDX feed. So just know that any broker can opt out of whole portions of the IDX feed, but they can't specifically exclude any one broker or agent or team's listing. So it's kind of like the fork in the buffet, right? IDX is, I will show yours, you will show mine, right? If you opt out of yours, then everybody else is opting out of you. So that is why Zillow and any other broker is allowed to specifically opt out of wholesale types of listings.
Not to jump all around, but I do see a question from Daniel. Great question. He's asking about our policy on price increase or price decrease as a status. And just keep in mind that that's not really a status, but it is a instance or a change type, if you will. And you can see those when from your hot sheets and market watch view. That is an option to track any listings that have had a price decrease or increase. One other quick tip today would be if you go to the search menu and you'll see a history search there that you can do. That enables you to specifically filter for listings that have had a price change too. So just keep that in mind as well.
Okay. I think we covered so those are the options. Any of the statuses.
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
got them all.
Yeah. Cool. All right, IDXs. So I think there's still some that believe that the information's pushed to some of these third-party aggregators. And a lot of times people will check off, do not do the price estimate, no comments, that sort of thing. Can you talk about how that works? Because we do still see, and I'm not going to say what kind of estimates there are, but I think people feel like that when you check the box off, no AVMs, that's what that means. So could you clarify that? And
Sure.
I guess,
Yeah.
like-
So I think, and I'll have to do a little bit more exploring on this, right? Originally, the no AVMs was meant for broker websites. Zillow at the time, or a large national portal, was not a member of, was not getting their feeds that way. They were getting their feeds via syndication. So that was a separate field. I will do some more digging to determine whether it includes, the Zestimate is now included in that feed. So let me make a note and get back to you and Matt, Stephanie,
Okay.
with a little more information on that.
Perfect.
Again, not to jump around too much, but I see a question here from Janice. And it's going back to the statuses review and the ability to continue to show when there is a contract. Again, active under contract, continue to show, accept backup offers, pending is we're not showing or accepting backup offers. And the question is, doesn't the buyer have to agree to let the seller continue marketing? That's going to be up to negotiations. And I would write it into the contract, if I were the buyer's agent or the buyer, that, I want to, see it go pending. I mean, does that sound about right to you, Brian?
I would
If you have a
call
concern
our
about
best
that.
friend Hank Lerner at the Pennsylvania
Yeah.
Association of Realtors with any questions
Okay.
that delve into the legality of contractual obligations of the showing and of the seller and the buyer. Good old Hank is a great resource. He does return phone calls, and he's really, really smart. So he is the best person. If you have questions
Sounds good.
like this, he's definitely the best person to reach out to. The Paralegal Hotline is a great benefit of being a member of the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors, and I do suggest that everybody take advantage on questions like this.
Yeah, we've had him on our coffee talks in the past, and we will definitely
See,
have
that's why
him
he's our
coming up.
VP.
Oh goodness. Okay, I think I have hit all the questions here. If anybody has any more, I wanted to get to Janice's. Brian, you talked about that. Another one, what is disciplinary action taken against many violations by members with coming soon?
So we don't specifically comment on any disciplinary action specific to a broker or an agent, right? Like Joy said earlier, it's one of these see something, say something things, right? If you see somebody talking about a coming soon listing on Facebook and then you can't find any information on there, send a screenshot, include the agent's name, forward it to accuracy and compliance. I promise they'll get a phone call within 24 hours saying, hey, if you are going to publicly market this property, you'll need to put this information into the MLS or we're going to start finding you. The reality is that most, as close as anyone has come to the line, most of our agents are in compliance, right? And unfortunately, it is one of these self-policing events. We can't be all places at all times, right? We don't know what emails you get. We don't know, we can't join all the Facebook groups where people are promoting these kinds of things. So it's one of these things where the community is going to have to help police itself. But there, we have a team in there that reaches out right away. Majority of the time, remember, everybody gets 24 business hours to enter a listing. So, if you sign a contract on a Thursday and, or on a Friday and you don't put it until Monday into the MLS, you're technically not in violation, right? And I don't think that's the best way to do any of this. When you're not putting things in the MLS, you don't get the benefit of syndication, right? They don't go out, you don't get maximum exposure for your listing. The point of coming soon is so that you can build that buzz around your property while still controlling the access and knowing when people are going to get in there. So if you're going to put that out there, you might as well inform the realtor community as well. There are thousands of real estate agents in this area. So, sharing a Facebook post is never going to be as effective as letting all of your other realtors know that there is a listing coming soon in a specific area or price range, whatever it might be. So it's always in your best interest to market to your fellow professionals so that they can spread the word for you.
Sounds good. Okay, guys, we are at almost to the top of the hour. Is there anything else you would like to get out there? I think we covered everything. Is there anything I did not cover that you guys want to get out there?
We
Yeah.
talked about a lot today.
We did. Okay, very well.
Yeah.
And I think we did get all the questions in here. Joy and Brian, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you two on, and please come back again.
Thanks for having
Absolutely.
us. We love meeting with you guys. Joy dropped her contact info in there. You
gonna
can find
do
us
that
on the
again.
website as well. First name dot last name at Bright MLS is the easiest way to find anybody via email. So any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to help. If you'd love to have Joy come in and talk about any specific topic more in depth, schedule an office training and she will come down, or she won't go anywhere. She will appear on your computers and she will be happy to walk you through anything you might have questions about.
Yes, well, I want to thank you guys. I know this was short notice. It was news that came out fast, and there was a lot of talk out there online and different social media outlets, and I felt it was really important that we get the proper information out to our members. And I thank you both for joining us on such short notice. You're always
We appreciate you having us
you're
and
so
allowing
great.
us to
We
help get the word
appreciate
out.
you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Matthew. We really appreciate it.
All right, Matt, over to you.
All right, Brian, Joy, thank you very much. Echoing everything that Stephanie just said. And to our folks, thank you very much. This was a great turnout, and you guys stayed through pretty much the entire thing. 80 strong folks. So keep an eye out for future coffee talks. We look forward to having you guys to share a cup of Joe and get some industry information right into your wheelhouse so that you can be successful in all your work. With that, guys, have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a great
Bye,
day.
have a great day.